Oh man, oh mamma mia, if this happened, mamma mia, I celebrate for 3 days in a row. Yes, we are speaking about Zhegrova to Juventus Football Club. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Before explaining you about Edon Zhegrova to Juve, well, let me first tell you that I am not a Mercato insider, I am not a journalist, and it's not my ambition to become one or the other. So telling you, revealing you that Juventus made an offer for Zhegrova, well, I have absolutely nothing to win because I will not become from that moment on a Mercato insider or a journalist. For a few days I can tease you, I can make some jokes that I was anticipating everyone and that it was fun because I had a credible source, but that's it, and then it's over. On the other side, I have a lot to lose because if nobody is confirming that there is an offer from Juve for the player, well, probably I will be mocked, and it's totally correct to do so. So that being said, if you want, please put a maximum of like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I received that news early in the afternoon, that's why the video extremely late, because I wanted to double check, and that news arrived not from Juve side, but arrived from France, from Lille. You know that I'm living not that far from Lille, and before believing I checked, and then I had the confirmation from someone that is actually close to the club of Lille that told me, Beppe, it's exactly the same source that told us about Giroud to Lille a few weeks already before it was announced in the media. So it confirmed me, and it gave me actually confirmation that it's not someone that is just joking or giving me information. I really wanted to know, to be sure before going out, because otherwise you're really stupid and you're taking too much risk for actually something that is absolutely not worth it. That being said, I heard it and I share it to you because that's what I'm sure you want to know. Because also that story of Sancho, why is Juventus saying no to Sancho or giving up on Sancho, could possibly make sense. So what is the news that arrived yesterday? That not only Marseille, because Marseille is on the player, they are strong on the player, but Juventus made an offer recently for Zhegrova to Juve. Pay attention, that doesn't mean that it's a done deal. That doesn't mean that the player accepts, even if we go back to last summer, going to Juve, I can tell you that Zhegrova will go feet by feet. He would walk, he would run, not even with a car like Igor Tudor last year. He will say, Juve, I go, take the backpack, and he's gone. Lille, walking it's a bit far, but anyway, he would go immediately. But that doesn't mean that the player accepted already, doesn't mean that the Lille accepted, super important, doesn't mean that the offer of Juve is good enough to match the one of Marseille, because you know that he still has a 1 year of contract. The latest information that I received was indeed, like 2 weeks ago said by Fabrizio Romano, that there was an offer from Marseille, a serious offer, because they won the player. They were speaking about 25 million euro, if I'm not wrong, but there is also a beautiful offer for the player, because of course 3 minutes after that I tweeted that possibility of Zhegrova to Juve, well, Fabrizio Romano came out with a tweet without seeing my initial tweet, and not that he's watching what Beppe is writing or doing, but he said, no, he didn't say Zhegrova, here we go to Marseille, but he said instead Zhegrova received an important offer from Marseille, now they are pushing to find a solution, which is totally different than a here we go, or that the player accept. Maybe the player didn't accept yet because he's waiting really to see how much now Juventus will offer him, because if Juve offer something to the club, they can start speaking with the player. Maybe they already did. So we need to check. We need really to understand what the situation is on Zhegrova. But I can tell you one thing. I love the player. It's a player that I'm following since 2, if not 3 years already. I was always impressed by him. We watched him. Lille, Juve, that 1-1 with the goal of Jonathan David. Funny story. He could go back like a Thiago Joallo that came from Lille to Juve. Not with Weah, because Weah is not there anymore. But he already played with Jonathan David, for example. Would be beautiful. Now you remember how we conceded that goal. Zhegrova on the right side, he was making actually all our left side of the field going totally crazy in that game. I would love to have him, really. What is the problem? What are these weaknesses? Well, pay attention, because he's suffering from growing pain, and this is why he is not constant in his way of playing. That's why sometimes you see underperformances of Zhegrova. Growing pain, that it's an annoying pain, because you cannot go on surgery. You could possibly go on surgery, but it takes too many time. It's not sometimes not worth, or sometimes the coaches prefer not, but that growing pain is annoying. And then on the other side, it's a player that sometimes is difficult to manage in terms of behavior, in terms of character. But of course, at Juve, it's a total different story. Why am I telling you that last summer? Well, from what I know, he would have loved to go to Juve, because For him, Juve is a top objective. Last year, Milan and Juve were already on the player. They were asking information, and on a television in Kosovo that a friend of me translated to me, he said, "I'm ready to leave Lille. I'm ready." And then when he heard the name of Juve, the club of Juve, was there with a big smile. Of course, it's not Cristiano Giuntoli anymore. It is Damien Comolli, but Damien Comolli is extremely aware of the French market. You will tell me, Beppe, he is Kosovaro, he's coming from Kosovo. That means non-EU slots, it's over. And not because he's born in Germany and he has that double citizenship, which is extremely, extremely advantageous for him. Let's see what will happen. If you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe, because now we go with the other news of the day. Not going into detail as we did yesterday, but pay attention because, of course, Sancho could go to Roma. So yesterday, if a lot of Juventini were saying, but why did we lost Sancho? I told you yesterday, according to me, it's a tactical decision to go with some players that are offensive midfielders to become the vice of Yildiz and Conceição, like, for example, Miretti and possibly O'Reilly, changing way of playing because we are closer to the goal. Well, it looks like if you don't go for Sancho, maybe because you had that idea. Also in terms of salary, much cheaper for a player like Zhegrova. Could be, and that is the game changer, I don't know. Now, Kolo Muani looks like in the next few hours he could become a Juve player. Probably not today, because I'm not expecting on the 15th of August that someone will be in La Continassa. But in the coming days, it could be at least before Juve-Parma match day 1 on the 24th of August. When we heard about 65 million euro, I told you no way. Actually, 65 is the sum of all the package Kolo Muani, included already the loan of last year that was for 5 million euro, included that half of salary, the extension for the Club World Cup, the loan for this year 25-26, and already a sum for the obligation to buy under certain conditions. So a total package a bit under the 65 could go to our 60 million euro if you are calculating everything. Of course, we are not calculating everything now. Now we are speaking about a 10 plus 45, or maybe a 20 plus 35, or even a 30 plus the remaining part, which is a 15. I don't know. Let's see. But apparently they found an agreement already since long with the player. Fabrizio Romano confirmed today, no to Newcastle, no to Tottenham, no to other team, only Juve for the Frenchman, which is a good news. And he's a man of word. He wanted Juve, and Juve wanted him. But the good news is that now Juventus made the decision, regardless of Dusan Vlahovic, that he leaves, that he stays, whatever, they don't care. They say we go for Kolo Muani. Then probably that comes after an acceleration of John Elkann that was at the Partita in Famiglia on the 13th. He stayed with the management, and probably they spoke about that increase, that capital increase. Do you remember that could go up to 110 million? If I'm not wrong, 15 were already given for Thiago Motta. 15 were even put after the fact that we were not able to sell Bangula and Weah before the 30th of June. Well, it could be that we go with another capital increase this time to actually say to Comoli, if you were not able to sell Dusan Vlahovic with the situation that you had, what you actually did, you cannot be blamed. So we want to go with a clean sheet. Here that money if you are not able to sell him. Then if you are able to save from Dusan Vlahovic, it's another story, but that's a problem for later. So Kolo Muani could come to Juve already in the next coming days. What about Nico Gonzalez? With Nico Gonzalez, a lot of people said, but if he leaves, then it's Sancho. But apparently, it could be Zhegrova as well. But Nico Gonzalez, Atletico Madrid, is something real. It's not a done deal yet. I already gave you all the details. Go back to the lives of yesterday. We did too. But the newness there, more rumors than something concrete, is that Juve could ask in the deal, in the swap, to go for Molina. Molina, that is 27, that is Argentinian, so it's an extra comunitario, non-EU player that already played 2 years in Italy with Udinese. He speaks the language, he understands the language, he understands calcio, he did really well there. He is 27, which is not old, but in the latest 2 years at Atletico Madrid, he's already starting to drop a bit in terms of performances. It's not the best right back, but as a right wing back, playing and fighting against Joao Mario would make totally sense, and to go for a player like him, because without Nico Gonzalez, don't put Weston McKennie on that position. So they are looking for that, but there is possibly an alternative that could be Arnau Martinez from Girona, 22 years old, so younger, and he's actually growing in terms of performances. He's a player with some potential, and on top of that, he's Spanish, so you don't even care about EU, not EU player. So Arnau Martinez is a name to follow up. O'Reilly, no O'Reilly, O'Reilly, no O'Reilly. Well, there is a possible other player that could join in the same kind of way of playing. It's the name of Mercato, the one of Chelsea that is 21 years old. He played at Dortmund on loan for the last 6 months. He's a player that Napoli is also on. Dortmund made an offer rejected by Chelsea. They said, I know, for an obligation to buy at 15 million pounds, which is 18 million euro. We don't want to, because we want much more for a player with a lot more potential. But Juventus, they could go there, especially if we go back with a loan of an obligation to buy for Renato Vega, in case Kelly would accept an offer from Sunderland, Burnley, or Wolverhampton. So there are a lot of options for Kelly. Not sure if he will leave or not. Juventus make sure that they are ready and that they are opening and keeping the talks open with Chelsea. Tomorrow, Atalanta Juve, the last and probably the first huge, big, real serious test in friendly before the season start. The last time I remember we did a 0-0 against Atalanta. We do it again. There are two possible lineups, but in the two possible lineups, look like Tudor said, we go with the best possible lineup. We go with seriousness. We want to do much better, and probably will not go and change the entire team after 60 minutes, but we want to take it as a serious test. So it could be that we have a Thuram, Locatelli as starters in the middle, but with Kalulu this time on the left, Kelly on the bench, Bremer in the middle, Gatti on the right. Or it could be that we see Kelly on the left, Kalulu on the right, Bremer in the middle, but this time with Koopmeiners and Locatelli with Thuram resting. Could be, I'm not sure, I don't know. If he does it, I would not be that surprised, because I don't believe that Thiago Motta was lying in the past when he was saying that in the beginning of the season, also when you see the height, etc., he needs a bit more time, Thuram, to full perform. So let's see tomorrow, but I'm excited. Of course, we will do a watch along here. If you didn't, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. Grazie, forza, Juve. Ciao.